Because that of that committee, but there are other issues of consolidation. There are several ministries that can operate from merge, and also suggested that government agencies should be run as if they were enterprises in such a way that they will be efficient and productive. There should be timelines, there should be deliverables. People should not just be showing up to the office as a ritual, but for the purpose of being productive to the Nigerian establishment. But somehow each regime just feels very comfortable allowing the status quo to maintain.
I think two things that comes to mind in this thing. Two things come to mind. The first one is the regime thing that you mentioned, administration. Once the administration steps in, somehow they tend to forget about the previous one and they set their own agenda and not trying to follow up what was on ground, how effective was it, should we continue with it or should we drop it? In the process of should we drop it, they tend to drop out things because they don't want to give glory to the previous administration. That also is a challenge to make.
That's actually one part of the wastage we're talking about. The discontinuity, especially at the state levels. You understand? Yes. Every government in the state level comes with totally different agenda, not even building to the previous agenda, even when they're in the same political system, when they are produced by the same political structures. The next governor just comes, introduces, one governor is talking about 7-point agenda. The next governor will come and launch 13-point agenda. That he will not fulfill even one. Instead of maybe if this man did 7-point agenda and maybe he achieved 3 out of the 7, maybe I have 4 more agenda to consolidate. You understand? Or even strengthen the 3 that he has done. But like in ENUGU here, you will see, okay, before this government, a lot of abandoned projects upon the fact that the government that handed over to the Chime government, was the same people, the same PDP, practically the same set of people. I mean, Chime was with Chimaroke in his regime, and he was nurtured, so to say, and practically like put into office, as the governor. But not soon after assuming office, he jettisons almost everything. In fact, some people feared that he was still going to relocate back the university that Chime built in Alban. Thank goodness he didn't do that. But like the International Conference Center, which is now being completed, it was abandoned. The International Hotel, the this, the that, none of those was touched. They sat abandoned for a very long period of time. And the rehabilitation of the Presidential Hotel that Chime commenced, the subsequent regime totally abandoned it. In fact, went ahead to sell off a portion of the hotel land, to private citizens. And it only took the coming of this regime for the government to recover those lands back to the Presidential Hotel.
Is there no way of having some sort of legal binding? If there is a legal binding that once an administration leaves it for the next, as long as the project that is worthy of continuation, all projects should be worthy.
The problem is who is going to make the law, because these are supposed to be state laws, and of course that the state legislature is usually in the pocket of the governor. So a lot of times they only dance to the governors too. They even specialize in looking at his body language. A lot of times the governor doesn't have to say anything. They'll just be snooping around, asking from those who are close to the governor, how will he feel if he do this? How does he feel about this?
This reminds me of what is happening now in the presidency level, whereby if the president doesn't seem to smile about or against a particular group, EFCC, the ICPC,
they would jump according to the. So
whoever the president smiles out, they don't
touch those people. So that is, you can see the level of sycophancy, that we have today. I mean, we are in lack of men with balls. Nobody wants to follow his conscience. Everybody is looking at smiling to his superior. And that reminds me. I didn't see it in the news anyway, but I saw it somewhere. The aide to the governor of Edo State, who had warned the video not to set his foot in Edo State. He was banned from community Edo State because of his altercation with the governor over Osun State election. I saw a video this morning where he was apologizing to the governor. Of course, he didn't ban the governor, he banned the video, but he has to apologize to the governor. Apparently, the backlash, because there was serious backlash.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Now he is coming back to apologize. Because the governor must have not smiled.
Exactly the point I'm making.
So all those big men,
he has
the likes
apologized to the governor in case he gets embarrassed.
Statement. Well, sorry, we come to the likes of the APs that made statement that you see them, kill them.
Yes.
You know, the Muslim cleric that made a statement because the president did not make any statement, or no APC member made any serious statement that we are against this. Nobody apologized. He even went ahead to go to another radio station or to another media house and say he is not regretting what he said and he stands on his word.
Exactly. But, even in Edo State, for instance, the guy is apologizing for the statement he made banning the video. Remember that even the governor himself tried to ban P2P.
Yeah.
From coming to this state
without permission. Before anybody comes, you
need to take permission. Yes. As Saddam Hussein of Edo State, we need to obtain permission from the Federal Republic of Edo State.
Border boss. So before they enter,
immigration SARS. P2P needed a visa to come into Edo State.
I won't be surprised to get more of those drama. This is the election.
You can imagine what will happen. These are the fears that the people who are against the state police have.
Yes.
You understand? Because these governors, they get these mendations when they do not have, actual dogs to bite. What if they are now in control or in charge of some kind of military or militia who can actually,
be at the beck and call.
So in Nigeria is a pariah. Even the solution is a problem.
The solution is a problem.
Yeah.
To solve the problem.
Even the solution to the problem is a problem.
Oh my God. Wow. So now let's look at the Vanguard. On the Vanguard newspaper, Nigeria's oil output drops by 20.8% in 10 years. The writer here says Nigeria's influence within OPEC Plus declines. We are committed to optimizing output. Renaissance speaking there. And bad omen requiring urgent steps. Exports speaking there. Fuel subsidy return to old regime will worsen economic crisis. Information Minister Idris speaking there. Onayoko Mba Osigwe and others speak at NGE Confab in Enugu, September 24th, 2025. That is okay. I'm going to say that today. Today is August 24th. All right, insecurity. End this madness once and for all. Obi tasks federal government. How 23 stocks beat inflation. And Ryder says 6 COIs didn't declare dividend. 7 COIs record negative return on equity. And NDLEA naps 101-year-old great-grandmom intercepts cocaine in fufu.
This should be her royal highness.
Oh my good lord. I want to believe she wasn't aware of that fufu having cocaine in it, because why would 101
she wants to go high. She wants to go high to the most high.
Oh my goodness. Ranching. Federal government won't force policy on Benue. Governor Alia speaking there. Sokoto terror attack. Hunger, trauma grips 7 communities. Still on the Vanguard. Still on the Vanguard newspaper. SGF mom as fake agency boss fires back. Come on. I like the energy I'm seeing there. It takes a whole lot of momentum for like the whole world to be against you. You still have the courage and the strength to fire back. Yeah. And I'm still concerned that he's the scapegoat of all of this thing. Why is he the only one that we hear about? He didn't work solely, I want to believe.
A journalist tried to talk to him on LinkedIn, and he responded by brandishing his appointment letter. Okay, he didn't speak much, because when they produced the letter, he stopped talking. He wouldn't respond. But what he did outrightly was drop his appointment letter, which came from a permanent secretary in the office of the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, 2025. He was appointed. you know, there's usually a media trial in Nigeria here, and it's easy to scapegoat anybody, label you anything, try you via the media, condemn you via the media, and harass you with government agencies. We don't know for a fact what has happened there. You know, okay, if you're arresting the fake agency DG under somebody's office, why is that person not being arrested? This DG was appointed during the tenure of the current, and this man is saying that this agency has been there for, I think, 14 years. You know, the agency has existed long before he was appointed, and he was appointed. He has an appointment letter. So what makes it fake?
So that means he was appointed. Yes. So that means it has been existing.
The office had been existing, and it was now appointed just last year.
Just like any other person can be appointed to any other office.
Through the permanent secretary of political affairs in the office of the SGF. That's how he got appointed. And he was allocated a temporary office. Clearly stated in his appointment letter that he will be operating from so in the meantime. He has allocations. He had funding. He had oversight from the SGF's office.
You see my concern. My concern is how this news is gradually like fading.
The problem is the media who reports some of these things the exact way that government want them to report it. You understand? I mean, the media should be able to have balanced stories. And balanced stories start from headlines. You cannot enable the government, especially in times of mischief. That the government alleges something does not mean that it is right. In fact, government is wrong in a lot of situations. We already know that. But you see that the media will just, verbalize what the government wants.
But is it just on the media? It's not just on the media this time. In as much as I understand
the media is the fourth realm of government. Their job is to police the government. The job of the media is to police the government, to unravel the facts. It's not, you cannot tell, media can never be the victim in this kind of situation.
No, I get your point for a fact. You're very right. Now, the media has a role to play. That is understandable. But how about other authorities? How about other institutions that can also look into this matter and step up their game?
Even those lackeys of government, we already know that. I mean, they all make up the government. They all are the beck and call of the government. But the media should not be. The media is the independent conscience that, polices all of us. Polices the judiciary, polices the federal government, polices the security agencies, polices the private individuals.
But in as much as you're making it sound like I know that the media is also complacent in a way. I understand that, but it's also important for us to know that the media has also been trying. Most of these things get to us because the media enable them through their platforms. Many people get to hear about these things and know about
them. If you
them.
platform falsehood, you have only amplified falsehood and you are culpable. One of the major functions of the media is surveillance.
Okay, this point is true.
Because, excuse me, can you not see that almost all the papers carry similar headlines? And if you don't even need to look hard to see that it could be misleading. They're writing from the perspective of the government. They're reporting from the perspective of the government, which is biased. You understand?
I get
the government should not be giving the media agenda. It should be the other way around.
Another concern that I also have regarding this, I think, was it day before yesterday, where still on this whole fake agency and the rest, that the president arrested 3 permanent secretaries. And there was a name mentioned, Wabweze.
They dropped a name.
And we are yet to find out the other 2 names.
Wabweze, 2 others arrested.
Even when I went to the story to read the story, I still saw Wabweze, 2 others.
2 others.
Who were the 2 others?
So, what is the agenda of dropping Wabweze? If you don't want to mention the names, you say 3 arrested. If you want to drop the names, drop the names.
So I get that. I really do get that.
The media is becoming an extension of the government. I said the media, and that involves the boss too. I said the media, and that involves the boss too. You cannot excuse the boss because it's part of the media. And we're talking about the establishment of the media industry. What role are we supposed to be playing as journalists in civil rule, even in military rule? The journalists risk everything to decipher the truth and make the truth available to the people. So it is part of their job. In fact, the core duty of the media is to expose what the government does not want exposed. Right? The core duty of the media is the conscience of the nation. It's to expose those things that government would rather, as long as they are not against national security. As long as they will not lead to breakdown of law and order. The objective thing to do, the expected thing to do, the contract of the media, the pact the media has with the populace is to educate them, to inform them, to enlighten them. So when we become complicit by just echoing the government, whatever the government pushes to us, we carry it verbatim and dump it on the people. It becomes propaganda. That is the Soviet style or the communist style communication.
Okay, your points are clearly noted. And in as much as I wish to stand for the media and also voice the efforts of the media, somehow you're still making points, and that will be for that. Let's check another newspaper.
I have the Daily Monitor here, and insecurity. Nigeria must not become killing field. P2B was. That one may be coming a little too late. Dangote refineries free fuel delivery expands to Kano, Imo, other states. NDLEA arrests 101-year-old great-grandma, intercepts cocaine in Fufu. Troops neutralize 40 terrorists, foil attacks, recover weapons nationwide. Unical VC defies court injunction, bars worshippers from chapel again. That's impunity then coming from the University Vice Chancellor. No amount of resistance from Tinubu supporters can stop me. Article accuses Tinubu government of applying one economic standard to corporations and another to citizens. Takus Uyodele says Nigerians deserve to know details of $5 billion Abu Dhabi loan. Emeka Agu Jr. with agency reports. Alleged Tinubu drug records. Ex-chief of army staff warns against making documents public. Says Nigerians should be wary of efforts to drag foreign governments into domestic political affairs. I don't know. This Tinubu drug records has remained an albatross. And I don't think it helps matter that the presidency always try hard to block. You have made a veiled denial of this existence of this. They should be encouraging the U.S. government to expose these records once and for all. Since the president is innocent, he was never a drug baron, I believe. Our president could have been a drug baron in the past, and his opponents have been using this against him mischievously, I dare say. And I think I will advise the president, as an honorable man that I know he is, to just shame his enemies by, asking the U.S. government to make public these documents so that this men will go and rest. They should. The president has been a very honest man. He's worked as an accountant in an oil company, and went on to serve in different positions. We know how he legitimately acquired his wealth. We know his educational background. People say he's a first-class material, and I believe them. And it's just his enemies trying to label him as a drug baron. And that's why I don't like Nigerian politics. Nigerian politics. Leila, Leila,
I'm laughing.
Are you okay?
Oh boy.
No, the president is
Hollywood.
The president is an honorable man,
He is indeed an honorable man.
So, I mean, this thing should be laid to rest.
Are you not concerned that an ex-chief of army staff once, and his statement is making here, says
I think
that
the man doesn't
Nigerians
like
should be wary of efforts to drag foreign governments into domestic
exposing a document
matters.
cannot mean involving. We've seen the involvement of foreign governments in Nigerian political matter. Obama government was in Nigeria during the 2015 elections. We saw it. It was brazen. And unfortunately, it was a sad situation. And too bad that it was the APC then that colluded. Which is a crime in any country. But they colluded brazenly with the foreign government that meddled. Obama practically campaigned for Buhari. He said it was time for Jonathan to leave. He made that categorical statement as a sitting president of America. And, a lot of, an arm of U.S. Congress. In fact, the secretary of the government then, John Kerry, flew into Nigeria and went to northern Nigeria to meet with the governors who were opposed to the president at the time. And afterwards, these governors were invited to the White House. We have seen meddling of foreign governments in the Nigerian election, and it was in favor of the APC. But I think in this case, it's in the interest of the APC to dispel the rumors that the opponents of the party has continued to use against the party by claiming that our amiable president was a drug baron who was indicted in the US and made forfeitures to this effect. So I don't think I agree with the former chief of army staff. He's crying wolf. I mean, there is nothing to hide. By the way, it's not a question of a foreign government. Somebody went to court and got the ruling.
Yeah.
Is he suggesting that the American government should not obey their own laws? In America, people obey. You can see in the newspaper here where a vice chancellor, is said to have disobeyed court ruling.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things you see in Nigeria. That is the reason why the former chief of army staff will be suggesting a thing like this. That a competent court has given a mandate to the U.S. government to do this or do that, and you are suggesting that they should not do it. America is not a banana republic like some countries I know where they don't obey the laws. So if the American court says American government should release the document, American government will release the document.
And on the news, the FBI was telling the U.S. courts that they cannot release some of those documents related to all of these things because of the harm it will cause. It's very sensitive.
To who? He said that it may cause what in Nigeria?
We don't know if it's to Nigeria or to outside the country.
To individuals.
But then again, just I think on Saturday or thereabout, it was also said that the American court has agreed to work with the document privately and not openly. But I'm just surprised and concerned that if this can, save the name of the president, that is not a drug baron.
So you agree with me?
So why not allow it
to be released
for once and for all, so that people can let that be?
Part of these documents have been released during the last election. People want a comprehensive release to lead to raise this scandal. The truth is that the document will come out sooner than later. It may be before election, it may be after election. And the truth is also that the release of the document may not be much in the election, considering the political mindset of Nigerians. I mean, the support base of the president, their mind is already made up. If you like bring whatever, they will still vote for the president. But it's just the right of the people to know who their president was, the life he led, So I mean, it's our right to know that this honest man has been, bullied and his character assassinated over the years over what he didn't commit. So I endorse the release.
Okay, so let's just jump into this paper and then we call it a wrap on the newspaper review. This is the Punch newspaper. Tributes to Nollywood Ogun Mon Ogogo at 66 And this one says Oil Block 31 winners face payment deadline. Osun poll, how vote buyers breached EFCC, ICPC, INEC defenses. And 2027, Atiku Obi make final moves on campaign councils. FAC bonanza, governors face questions as payouts hit 47 trillion naira. Another rider here says post-subsidy windfall, FAC revenue hit 47 trillion naira in 3 years, surpasses previous 6-year total. States, local governments get bigger FAC shares. Governors face heat as subsidy removal debate resurfaces. Again, federal government, APC tackle Atiku over petrol subsidy return call. NDLEA arrests 101-year-old cannabis dealer daughter in Ogun. 150,000 naira palliative. Pensioners threatened mass protest. 2027 Mba Onayeko headline NGE debate on election disinformation. Once you grab a copy of the Punch newspaper, you get details of these and lots more. Of course, this is how far we go this morning on the newspaper review. We have more exciting conversation coming up your way, more trending conversation to look into. Stay with us, please. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
We are local.
International communities observing Why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended say aye. Aye.
We have taken it by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
You don't tire for this picture. Oh yeah, make you follow Unorodo. Nigeria don't go digital with free TV. Over 100 channels they with you. Sport, news, and better entertainment for your own language. No matter where you dey, whether for city or whether for village, the satellite signal they reach every corner of Nigeria from day one. No monthly payment again. Once you get Ogbonge free to air decoder, you don't win. This one, now our own national asset. Even from your phone, you feel watch out. Just download the free TV app and carry your TV go anywhere you dey go. Scan that code now or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by MBC.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
Aye. We have taken the bill by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on e-vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
So I should try harder. So
okay, I don't know that one.
Outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hubs on e-vibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has vowed to restore a targeted fuel subsidy if elected president in 2027, insisting that President Bola Tinubu cannot prevent him from implementing the policy. Atiku, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, made the position known in a statement issued in Abuja on Sunday by Senior Special Assistant on Public Communication, Frank Shaibu. He criticized Tinubu's decision to remove the petrol subsidy, arguing that the government continued to provide financial concessions to oil companies while Nigerians struggled with the rising cost of living. Atiku also challenged the administration's claim that fuel subsidy had been completely abolished, citing figures contained in the audited accounts of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. And it is not surprising that this is coming back and forth. Remember sometime last week where we have, the president also making his own comment, reacting to this, that Atiku is speaking on ignorance. And also I wanted to say his handbag, but the Minister of FCT, Wiki, also made a statement to, saying that Atiku is inconsistent with his, policy or opinions regarding things, and it's just another political statement.
I think the presidency spoke in ignorance to say that former vice president, one of the best vice presidents, yes, one of the best. Atiku's era was loaded with activities, and that regime saw major reforms in Nigerian economy.
But does it mean it was on Atiku?
You cannot say
on the president?
You cannot say he is ignorant. That's my point. Okay. I'm not saying Atiku.
Okay.
Remember that Atiku headed the BPA, the Bureau of Public Enterprises, that saw the privatization of corporations in Nigeria, and that regime saw the restructuring, a major restructuring of Nigerian economy, and in fact, it's one of the best regimes ever to happen in Nigeria in terms of, it was like starting the country all over. It was like starting the country afresh, and even the people in the vice president's office, the people he was able to appoint, and engage in his, they were very scholarly and they write. So I think the presidency spoke in ignorance to even suggest that a former vice president of Atiku's stature was speaking out of ignorance. And let's look at the facts and forget about the emotions. Is Atiku wrong to say that the subsidy removal has not worked for Nigeria? Because at the end of the day, the impact on the lives of the people is the most important thing. Peter Obi had said that if he was the president, he would have a phased removal of subsidy. Now, Atiku is also saying that the approach was wrong, that the sweeping approach was wrong, and that the president did not put in place measures that will ameliorate the impact on the people.
And now we are being joined by our guests to help us understand the topic. If the presidency justified removal of petroleum subsidy, can they justify the suffering of Nigerians? Joining us is Nick Agule, a chartered accountant and international business intelligence consultant. He'll be helping us to understand really the fuel subsidy, the removal, or its staying. Good morning and welcome to Signature Morning.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to all our viewers globally. I'm happy to be here.
Are you in or against the fuel subsidy? Should it be removed or should it just stay the way it is?
Okay, so first of all, let me be very clear that there is absolutely nothing wrong with subsidies. Absolutely nothing wrong. I think we are beginning to give subsidy a bad name in Nigeria. And I think it is time to stop that. Subsidy is not wrong. Governments all over the world offer one subsidy or the other to their citizens. Can you hear me? Because I see myself frozen on the screen. Can you hear me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can. We
can hear you. Okay, sir, it's okay because I'm totally frozen on the screen. So if you can hear me, that's fine. So I don't want us to go down this trajectory that is becoming the norm in Nigeria, that once you mention subsidy, you are talking about something very bad. No. In the United Kingdom, where I am speaking to you from, the government has an elaborate system of subsidies. Number one, if you are sick in this United Kingdom, the government subsidizes your health care to zero. You walk into the hospital, have the most complicated surgery, and walk out of that hospital, government pays it. Children go to school, fully subsidized by the government up to age 18. As I am a 60-year-old man sitting before you now, my birthday gift was government subsidizing my transportation. I was sent a 60 plus Oyster card that enables me to go around London, and government is picking up the bill for my transportation. There are so many other things, housing benefits, disability benefits, unemployment benefits. This is what government do. There are other countries where government subsidizes farmers so that the eventual cost of the food that is produced, is affordable to the citizens. You remember when we had COVID, government offered subsidies to businesses to jumpstart. So there's an elaborate scheme of subsidy. I always say that there are 3 questions that need to be answered for any subsidy scheme. 3 questions. Question number 1, does the government have the money to fund the subsidy? Question number 2, can leakages and criminality be avoided on that subsidy scheme? And question number 3, are the people who the subsidy is targeting the actual beneficiaries, and are they getting value out of that subsidy? Once these 3 questions are positively answered, the subsidy can go ahead. So if Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is proposing to remove subsidy if he is elected as president in 2027, Nigerians need to interrogate him on these 3 questions. Where will he see the money to fund the subsidy? How will he fight the criminality around the subsidy? And how will he ensure that the target population of this subsidy are the ones that are enjoying the subsidy? If Mr. Alhaji Abubakar is able to explain succinctly and answers these 3 questions to the satisfaction of the electorate, I will say that the subsidy on petrol should be restored. Because if you look at the situation where in Nigeria we are buying petrol at $1, $1 a liter, that's what we're buying petrol for. That is the same cost that petrol is being sold in the UK, sold in the US. We look at how much money that they are earning in those places compared to Nigeria. Nigeria's minimum wage is about $55. $55 of minimum wage. How can somebody on minimum wage of $55 be buying petrol at $1 a liter? His counterpart in the US is earning $2,000. So with their minimum wage, they can buy 2,000 liters of petrol. The Nigerian minimum wage worker can only buy 55 liters of petrol. It doesn't make sense. So that would be my take on that.
All right. Thank you for that, input there. I just want to ask a question. Nigerian government, the current Nigerian government likes to portray subsidy removal as an economic magic. While we experience here in Nigeria the impact of the subsidy removal, the instant increase in fuel pump price with attendant increase in transportation costs that affected universally inflation of goods and services in Nigeria, including food inflation. However, the government continues to pride subsidy as one of those economic magic that they have, backed on. I want to ask, is a subsidy the magic wand that will save Nigeria from all these economic woes? According to, do you agree with the government to that effect?
Well, I totally disagree with the government. If the government says subsidy is the magic wand that will solve all our economic problems, I will totally disagree with that. An economy, if you look at the developed economies, vis-a-vis ours, or even the fast developing economies, vis-a-vis ours, you can see the differentials. The very first magic wand that will make any economy grow, regardless of whether you have natural resources or not, is the rule of law. If you have the rule of law in the nation, the economy will work. You look at small countries like Singapore. Do you know that Singapore does not have any natural resource? Because Singapore is what you call a city-state. So like you are broadcasting from ENUGU now, the city of ENUGU would have also been a country. So ENUGU is a city, it's also a country. That's what Singapore is. They don't have land for agriculture. They don't have oil. They don't have any mineral in the ground. After all, they have already built the whole place with concrete, right? But Singapore is one of the biggest economies in the world, with one of the highest GDP per capita. With Singapore is better. If you look at the League of Developed Nations, Singapore is topping a lot of European nations. What is the reason? It's because of the rule of law. And the rule of law is simple, meaning bring everybody before the law. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be President Tinubu, you can be Vice President, what's Vice President's name now? Shetima. You can be Akpabio, Senate President Akpabio, can be Wike, or you can be that local farmer, or anybody or a governor. Everybody is brought before the law. Once you bring any human society to that level, you begin to see instant development. And below that, you have other structures that support an economy. Every economy needs electricity, because it's just like the human body. We need blood to circulate in our body so that we can do well. You have to have electricity. You have to have infrastructure like roads, railways, airports and all of that. You have to have the steel plant to generate your steel raw materials for development. You have to have the refineries working. You have to have the gas plants working. These are the kind of things that you have to have in place before the economy will work. It's not about subsidy. So long as you don't have these things in place, even if you introduce subsidy will not take you anywhere. And let me comment on the current government removal of subsidy. It is the government itself that decided that they will bring the scorecard of subsidy of reform, as they tagged it, to us. And if you look at what happened, the government said that subsidy removal generated 15.8 trillion between June of 2023 and December of 2025. And the federal government took 5.4 trillion. The state took 6.5 trillion, and the local government took 3.9 trillion. So that's how they divided it. Now, the federal government does not know what is happening in the states and local government, but they know what is happening in the federal government. So they now gave us a deeper perspective of what happened to their own 5.4 trillion. So you implemented a subsidy, you made 5.4 trillion. But because of the subsidy, our domestic debt stock went up. For the benefit of our viewers, I can explain it very briefly. Let's say under President Buhari, we had $1 million of debt. We have more than that. I'm just using this for illustration. We have $1 million of debt. And the Naira value of that debt will be 460 million because it was $1 for 460 naira. Because of the so-called reform, the dollar now became 1,400 naira. It means overnight that your debt of $1 million will now become $1.4 billion. Sorry, billion naira. 1.4 billion naira. So you now have to pay interest on 1.4 billion naira. That costs the federal government an additional 9 trillion. They are the ones calling the numbers, not me. And then because of the reform, cost of living skyrocketed. So they had to increase salaries. That again cost the government 9 trillion. So if you add 9 trillion of salary increase and 9 trillion naira of additional debt service, the government entered a hole of 18 trillion. Meanwhile, they only made 5 trillion from subsidy. 5 trillion. Now they have a bill of 18 trillion. How did they now do it? They now went and borrowed 11 trillion. So, tell me how this is successful. You implemented something and made 5 trillion, but the consequence of that implementation made you to pay 18 trillion. Then you now went and borrowed 11 trillion. Can even a primary school child say that this was successful?
All right, so let's look at it from this angle. From your explanation that you just stated now, it's obvious that this is not working. At what point can this government take responsibility and say that, okay, actually, we thought we could do this, and this was the angle we came up with, but it's not working. Can we go back and restructure? And secondly, if the average Nigerian is not seeing the dividends of this supposed removal of subsidy, can Nigeria still say this subsidy is effective and it's working for Nigeria?
So, for me, here's the solution. If the government decides that it is not working, because clearly the numbers that the government is put on the table shows that it's not working. Like I said, they made 5.4 trillion, but they now had a bill of 18 trillion to pay. So they now went and borrowed 11 trillion. It's clearly not working. If the government decides that let us abandon the subsidy regime, the government must answer the 3 questions I earlier put forward, which is, can they fund the subsidy that is now restored? Can they fight the criminality of the subsidy? And are the people who are to benefit the ones benefiting? And is it adding value to them? If the government says yes to all those questions, they can take the option of reversing themselves and restoring subsidy. But if they don't want to reverse themselves, there are still certain things that the government should do and must do, which they actually have not done since 2023. And I'll give you the first one. The first one is, on the day that Mr. President made the famous 3-letter speech, subsidy is gone. That is the same day that Mr. President would have said the day of the NNPCL mismanaging our refineries is also gone. And if Mr. President said that in May 2023, by the end of 2023, we would have got these refineries in the hands of competent private sector operators. And 2 years later, 2.5 years later, because we're 3 years on now, I'm telling you that at least 1 or 2 of those refineries will be working. And if 1 or 2 of those refineries were working and pushing petroleum products into the market, the price of petroleum products will start coming down. It's as if you have now implemented the subsidy even though you have not spent any money. That on its own will start bringing down the cost of petroleum products, because there will now be competition in the market. Dangote will be competing with the NNPCA. I mean, I won't call the NNPCA because by this time the refineries should have been in the hands of the private sector. So I will say Dangote will be competing with Nigeria-owned refineries. That will be bringing down the price. That's number one. Number two, a huge quantum of petroleum products in Nigeria are consumed for electricity generation. So if government now, in the same way they remove the subsidy, they redid the 2013 power sector privatization, and today Nigeria is having the 13,000 megawatts that we have on our installed capacity. I can tell you that less volume of petroleum products will be needed for power generation, and electricity will now be powering the economy that is now creating jobs and producing things more cheaply, so that we are no longer now depending on bringing what we are consuming or using from abroad, which is currently very expensive. That alone will start bringing prices down and creating jobs for our young people, right? If the government by now had sent all the bandits that have occupied our farmlands packing and restored the farmers back to the farms, and the farmers have now been empowered with the machines, and they are producing a lot more food than they were producing before, the cost of food will start going down. It's like you're subsidizing without even using money. So these are the ways that the government can bring prices down. It's not by subsidy. Subsidy is like a fiat. You can actually do the hard work by bringing prices down if government is taking the right policy steps. But this government so far, immediately they remove subsidy, they just sat back. Since 3 years ago, if you ask the president today, what's your biggest achievement? He will say subsidy. That would have been okay in 2023. But from 2024, what have we done with power supply? What have we done with the steel plants? What have we done with the refineries? What have we done with the gas plants? What have we done with agriculture? What have we done with minerals? What have we done with tourism? What have we done with all of this? These are the hard work the president has refused to do since he removed subsidy. He has never done anything again. And that is not going to work for us.
Are you with us, Mr. Nick?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right. Subsidy is gone. We know that with subsidy gone, the presidency has, more money in their hands to share to the state and the local governments. In fact, I saw that the total revenue that have been accrued to the state and local government is about 47 trillion. That is bigger than what we have ever had in the past. But we still see insecurity. The farmers are not able to produce because their farmlands have been taken over. We see increasing poverty. We still see poor infrastructure. In fact, the rail system that the last regime tried to rehabilitate, this government is not even continuing in that direction. So even petroleum has to be moved through roads to destinations where they are consumed. We are not seeing increased investment in education. We are not seeing healthcare being affordable to the people. The cost of procuring regular medications have increased due to inflation and lack of local production. We are seeing increasing unemployment among the young people. So almost every part of our social life, we can't feel the impact of subsidy. As citizens of this country who own the resources that is either subsidized or not subsidized. However, I would like to believe that no government could have failed in every aspect. I want to ask you, which area of governance can you say that this regime has really succeeded in, considering the enormous resources it now has in its hand? What can this government beat its chest and say that Nigerians are now enjoying this, or that the country is now better for it because we have removed subsidy? Except because even corruption has not abated. We hear about bloated government agencies that has been there since time immemorial. Now we are hearing about fake agencies. That's a step further, from bloated to fake. So what has this regime gotten right? What? Even if it's one thing.
It's very hard to say it. But to be fair to the regime, if you ask Mr. President today to say what are your biggest achievements 3 years on, he will tell you that I removed petrol subsidies and I unified the foreign exchange market. In terms of achievement, yes, those are achievements, and they were courageous decisions. So I am not quarreling with the fact that Mr. President removed subsidy on petrol and unified the exchange rate, because there was a lot of criminality that was happening in those two sectors. But what I'm quarreling about is this. If you remove fuel subsidy and immediately the cost of public transportation shot up, you needed to now bring in something that will bring the cost down. And that is what the president has not done. Because as he removed subsidy and the price of petrol went high up, if he immediately shut down our refineries, if he immediately transferred our refineries to the private sector, so that the private sector by now will be producing petroleum products and competing with Dangote refinery, the cost of petroleum products would have been coming down. So that is where he got it wrong. Again, unifying the foreign exchange market is an achievement because it removed the round stripping that was happening between the so-called parallel market or the black market and the so-called official market. But what the president has failed to do is that immediately he took that decision, the cost of goods and services shot up because we are an import-dependent economy. What has the president done 3 years to help us to import less? He hasn't done much, meaning he hasn't dealt with power supply, hasn't dealt with gas supply, hasn't dealt with agriculture and things like that. So that is where he totally got it wrong. So the situation we are in here is like a patient that came to the emergency ward of a hospital. The patient is losing blood a lot. So the doctors, okay, yes, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, thank you so much. We are so sorry we have to let you go. We are so behind time. We're working with time for other conversations to go into. Thank you so much for being part of the program and joining us to share your wonderful thoughts and insights. It's been an honor. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. Yeah.
All right then. Now, over the weekend, Ebonyi State Independent Electoral Commission has, an election, a local government election, and it's been all over the place. But just yesterday, the Ebonyi State Independent Electoral Commission, ENUGU, declared the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, winner of the local government elections held across the state on Saturday. The chairman of the ENUGU, Enyi Patrick, announced the results on Sunday, disclosing that the APC won all 13 local government areas and 171 wards contested in the election. Patrick said the election was conducted peacefully across the state. Meanwhile, Governor Francis Wefero praised the peaceful conduct of the local government elections conducted by ENUGU. Stakeholders and key political figures across the state also commended the voter turnout and the smooth conduct of the exercise. And to help us really see through the election is our correspondent currently in Ebonyi State. That will be, shedding lights and explaining some of the happenings during the election. Okay, while he joins us, I still feel like it is important for us to know that, this is how elections supposed to be. You don't have to hear it on the papers, or there was one ballot chasing, snatching, or somebody died in the process, or one thing or the other happened. This was a smooth election that many people did not even know that there was an election over the weekend. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because it was a smooth election indeed. And so smooth that nobody heard about it. Actually, some of my friends participated in this election, and that is why I don't know. You know, local government elections in Nigeria have become a major comic relief. You know, I don't even know why we bother with these elections, because it's just a waste of, I mean, who are we pretending to? It's waste of state resources. The government could as well just appoint these individuals. If we are not going to make laws that will strengthen local elections, there's really no point in calling them elections, when in the actual description would have been selections or imposition, whatever. You know, Ebonyi State is known for violent elections. So when you see election that ended peacefully in Ebonyi, just know that only one party participated in that election. I mean, some few days ago, we saw through the handle of Chika Wamba, who has been on the run due to the harassment he faced from agents of Ebonyi State government. He published a letter from a local government chairman, Ivo local government chairman, you know, declaring a particular day, a weekday, public holiday, a local government chairman, not a governor, in the local government, and mandated all companies. Record that the Ivo has, you know, extracted industries and quarry production companies there. He wrote to, you know, companies there, asking them to shut down because the governor was visiting Ivo, and to mandate all their workers to come out in support of the governor. And he warned that anybody who fails to comply will face their consequences. That is Ebonyi for you. I schooled in Ebonyi. I did my first degree there. I worked in a FMC at Abakaliki, where I did my internship back in the days, and I worked with the then specialist hospital, the teaching hospital, for a while, and later on, I still worked when they became a Federal University teachers before I left for Anambra State. You know, I know Ebonyi fairly well, and I can tell you that if there was an election in Ebonyi State, it will not be this quiet. The APC regime in Ebonyi State simply did what every other regime in charge of any state. It happened in Imo State, it happened in Osun State, it happens in ENUGU State, it happened everywhere. That Nigerian local government elections are simply at the whims of the state government. It's only, ironically, Governor El Rufai, that organized an election that nearly was free and fair, and he lost some local government in that election. So, but before him and after him, there has not been any governor that had the impetus to allow the state so-called Independent Electoral Commission to conduct the election. The only free and fair local government election that ever held in Nigeria was the one that happened in 1999, organized by INEC. And since that election was handed over to the State Independent Electoral Commission, it has been the playground of the governors. So, well, I'm happy that nobody died this time around in Ebonyi State. But of course, like I said, it is only because it was one person, one party that had that election. And they did their thing just like everybody else does their thing in the local government elections.
Well, this is your opinion, but we hope to get to our correspondent that will also share his opinion with us. He was on the ground of the election. He saw it all. He heard it all. Yeah, so he's going to help us to really, really understand what it was like at the Ebonyi State local government elections. I don't know if he's already on standby. If he's there, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, we're yet to have our correspondents join us. I hope he gets to do that pretty soon. Stay with us as we go for a short break.
You don't tire for this picture. Oh yeah, make you follow Unorodo. Nigeria don't go digital with free TV. Over 100 channels they wait you. Sport, news, and better entertainment for your own language. No matter where you dey, whether for city or whether for village, the satellite signal they reach every corner of Nigeria from day one. No monthly payment again. Once you get Ogbonge free to air decoder, you don't win. This one, now our own national asset. Even from your phone, you feel watch out. Just download the free TV app and carry your TV go anywhere you dey go. Scan that code now or call 0700-388-7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by MBC.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
International communities observing why the main market is in chaos. People are
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye.
Aye. We have taken the bill by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Bright and early as the day breaks, as the newspaper headlines trail the stories that shape the day, we at Signature TV trail the headlines that trail the day. We interrogate the headlines. We analyze the stories that make the headlines.
WAEC is overrated, and they even overrated themselves, and when you go see it, they are insensitive of some Nigerian children who have never had what they call CBT.
With passion and emotion, we drive the conversation to change a narrative.
Let nobody be deceived by Nigerian high level of performing in agriculture export. We are still where we are.
Newspaper review on Signature TV every morning on Signature Morning, weekdays, and Signature New Day, weekends. Newspaper review on Signature TV. We do not just review the headlines, we make the headlines relevant to our daily lives.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV. We open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem.
There's no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
We are local.
The international community is observing every
Where the main market is in chaos. People
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
And joining us now is Amechi Odo, a journalist that observed the election that will be helping us to understand how it went. Hello, Odo. Good morning and welcome to Signature Morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and good morning to listeners.
So walk us through the experience while you were there. Let's look at the turnout. What was the turnout like, and also was there any violence at any point experienced or mentioned?
Okay, let me start with the letter. The election was hugely peaceful. There was no single violence recorded during the exercise, which of course took place across 13 local government areas of Ebonyi State and the 171 wards. Number of polling units, stood at 2,947, and we visited some of them. Of course, the turnout was low. We moved from Abakaliki to Ebonyi, and my other colleagues, visited some other local governments, and the report was the same, peaceful, but the turnout was low. And we inquired from EPSEC. EPSEC is the Ebonyi State Independent Electoral Commission, as to the number of registered voters, and they gave us 1.5 million, 1,597,646 voters registered. But that was as at 2022. They used the voter register of 2022. So the updated register, as INEC is about, finalizing, it was not used. Of course, it's not complete yet. So they didn't use that. They used that of 2022, and the registered voters, like I told you, were 1,597,000. But it was peaceful, and the results have been declared. APC won in all the 13 local governments and the 171 wards. The councillors, in those wards, were victorious, and they are of APC all through. So it was a landslide.
So I want to ask you, Mr. Odo, how many political parties participated in this very peaceful and landslide election in favor of APC?
Well, from the information we gathered from EPSEC, APC and ADC, participated in the election. But it was hugely an APC affair because ADC, I beg your pardon, didn't register a presence. There was no word that ADC won. So two political parties from what they say, but all that we saw, all the supporters, those who engaged on the field, appeared to be supporters of APC and of course.
So it is obvious and it is safe to say that Ebonyi State is an APC state. And then how about the citizens? Would you say, are they politically inclined? Are they politically active compared to other states like the ones we saw in Oyo and other states where, even in recent Port Harcourt, where you see active residents complaining about their governor and, having the heart to vote, who they want to be their governors? Do you see that activeness in the residents, citizens of Ebonyi State?
Well, the state is APC. The governor is an APC governor, and the local government chairman, the outgoing, all of them belong to APC. Of course, you recall that the former governor, immediate past governor of the state, David Umahi, pushed or moved the state to APC. He was in PDP, the state was of PDP, but along the line, he felt that they were not connecting that much to the center, as they used to say. So he decided to, defect to APC, and he did that with all the functionaries of the government, all the paraphernalia of the government. That does not mean that we don't have, other political parties that are still active in Ebonyi State. Yes, PDP is here, is doing a level of showing. We also have ADC and other political parties. And talking about awareness, yes, the people of the state are politically aware, but it appears there is this certain arrangement that comes in place whenever we talk about or whenever local government elections to hold in the state. It appears the people of the state, politicians are not divided, often do not have the interest to participate. However, there has been a release by PDP where it suggested that there are certain political parties, perhaps PDP is speaking for itself, but the press release or press conference, statement, as it were, suggested that, political parties were not allowed to participate. But the information we gathered, even the books, published to support or provide information about the election, we have ADC and APC, vividly written on one of the pages as the two political parties that participated in the election. So the people are aware when it comes to general election, you see them coming out in droves to vote according to their conscience. But when it comes to local government election, there appears to be an apathy or no turnout of voters. And when you ask people, moving around on the streets, they will tell you that the outcome has already been decided. So there is no gain going to waste time to queue up, to vote when it is obvious that the vote will not count because of a certain arrangement that may have, taken place before the exercise.
All right, my brother, we are saying here, and you tend to agree with us, that Ebonyi is an APC state. Maybe by virtue of the governor and the state paraphernalia all being in APC. And in an election organized by the state government that's in APC, a local election, councillorship and local government election, which is the most grassroots election. And we are seeing very low turnout of voters. And if you may, voter apathy. Does it mean that the people also do not have faith in the APC government that is organizing these elections? Or could it be that maybe the majority of people are not really in support of the APC, so decided to stay away with the other political parties? Because according to your report, the government sources you quoted claim that that is the EPSEC claim that the ADC participated in the election, but you on the ground you did not see any trace of the ADC. So maybe it must also be phantom ADC. So could it be that the people are not really in support of APC, rather the government is APC, but not necessarily the people?
And also, for the sake of time, to add to his question, does it also mean the people do not believe in the electoral process, INEC itself as a body of being independent and carrying out justice, fair, credible election?
Okay, the answer or the question, that I think speaks to the situation on ground is the one you just asked. The umpire, in the perception of the people, not to be truly, impartial. Yeah, because the umpire EPSEC is the creation of the law of the state. Is the creation of the law of the state, and you have the state governor appointing the chairman and members of the commission. And of course, he who pays the piper, I think dictates the tune.
Yeah.
Good. So I think that is the impression people have, that there is no gain going to queue up to participate in an election where it appears to be a family affair. A family affair in the sense of the nature of the appointment and all the functionaries and departments of the government being used to ensure that the aspirations of the sitting government, are achieved. So, and going to the first question, it does not appear that you don't have other, political party supporters, or that people have a disbelief in APC, and that is perhaps why they didn't come out. No. That is not the situation on ground. The government of APC, as we have it here in the Ebonyi State, is doing its best, to provide democracy dividends, provide infrastructural facilities and other things, back on people-oriented projects and programs that will make people to actually believe in APC. But even when you are a member of a family, and it appears maybe that oftentimes the family goes, one side. Oftentimes it goes one side. When the family talks about a contest at the end, you will see, one side winning. As a human being, you will lose interest. And that is why I said that it has to do with the umpire. But let me give them credit, because we saw a different EPSEC, this time around. They made information available. They issued notice of election in compliance with the electoral law, which stated that it has to be done 360 days, before any election holds. And of course, you remember, it was one of the reasons, that previous elections, local government elections in the state, I think the last two elections, were nullified by the appeal court, federal court, and the appeal court, as the case were.
Amechi, thank you so much. We are so behind time, and I know you have a lot to share with us. Maybe we'll look for a day, to look into all of these things. Thank you so much for being part of the program and sharing your thoughts with us on ground. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right then. Oh boy, what a day! Today's show doesn't feel like ending at all. It's time for us to leave. Mark Ginger.
Yeah, I don't know why I feel a little bit sad. Ebonyi is one of the poorest states, the poorest state in Southeast, and the level of poverty and unemployment coming out of Ebonyi State is humongous. And we've seen in the news so many phantom white elephant projects being embarked on by previous and the current regime. Ebonyi State built an airport that has not seen a plane. Ebonyi State is constructing stadium, big this, big that. established flyovers where you scarcely see any vehicles passing by. In spite of all of this, Ebonyi people have remained very impoverished, and Ebonyi is being led by a tight-knit group that decide their future, and the impact is.
We need to go.
We need to go. Yes. All right.
I know your pain. I know how much.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning. You see the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and this is the Signature TV morning show. And my name is Dr. Majinja Ibeneme, and I hope I was able to ginger the show, even though that this last correspondence, gave me some kind of sobriety, and as someone who has a serious ties with the Ebonyi State, I don't feel so good. It's all the same. We keep hope alive, and tomorrow we're going to be here.
All right, and to all the production team of Signature Morning, thank you so much for doing a great job, and also for you watching us. It's been a nice time. Take care.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.